so far, and I believe that the entire industry at this point has agreed that the Gemini Pro model, 3 Pro model right now, which was released, is by far one of the most superior models out there. And I'm pretty sure there'll be another model. It's almost like catching up with, being updated with all of these on a day-to-day basis. Let's go back. Make sure I don't touch this anymore.
I have a question.
I have one question. For the video timeline, this is the limited, I think it's 8 seconds.
8 seconds. So
Is there
all
any
the
way to
consumer
increase
versions will have 8 seconds. On the paid version, I believe you can extend up to, I'm not sure about the exact this thing. You have on Google Cloud, you have a paid version as well, where you have a much more lengthier time limit. Okay. Now, apart from this, if you're actually interested in making videos, please have a look at. Sure, this. Give me 1 second, guys. You can actually try out Flow, Google Flow. So Google Flow is where you can actually make even movie grade quality thing. You can give it 2 images, let's say a starting image and an ending image. It will start to connect the dots in between. Okay, so you can kind of do that kind of level of things as well. So coming back.
This is Rashekar. When I'm querying through the Google Gemini, so what are the different sources internally it will connect to bring back the exact results?
So by default, let's say as a developer, if you're just using the model by itself, it will just rely on the model data. It won't do anything beyond that. So I'll give you a quick example of this. This is AI Studio. So you guys can actually go to aistudio.google.com. You can just look it up on your phone as well. It's very easy. Now, if I go back, I think what you will be seeing is something like this, the home screen. So you have the capability to write code applications, chatted models. So if I just click on chatted models, you see, these are all the different capabilities that you have. Now, under Gemini, the latest one, which is still in a preview stage, is the Gemini 3 Pro, right? And then the next one is the Banana Pro, that's for the images. Now, if I click on this, and on the right side, you'll get to see the details about this. So if I click on this, you'll get to see what this model is all about, right? And you can see the knowledge cutoff. This is what I was telling. The knowledge cutoff over here is Jan 2025. So that means whatever the knowledge or the data set that Google trained this model on, till Jan 2025, it will have that data set. But anything beyond that, it will not have any information about it. So it will just try, it won't say, I don't know about it. It will always try to answer it, but it might not be accurate. So that's when you're looking for, always when you build applications as a developer, keep this in mind. Large language models can be so convincing that it will make you think that the answer that it's giving is always 100% accurate. So, but we know based on how it is. Of course, now it's gotten so better that it is getting better at it. But there is still a chance, like I would say even like 0.1% chance that it could make mistakes. And that, depending on what kind of application that you're building, could make a huge difference. So that's why you need to go with things like grounding. Now you'll also see for each of these models, what is the token limits and stuff. So token limits, in very simple layman terms, think about it as every request or prompt that you type in, that's every word. It's not exactly like a word, but for easy understanding, we call it like take a word as one token, right? So the total accumulation of your entire prompt that you write, if it is a big prompt, the model has already a certain limit, right? Now in these models, you can see the token limit is like 1 million. So that means you can literally upload movies. We've seen examples where you can upload like a movie or a 1 hour video and say where exactly did this event happen, or you can draw a picture and say just sketch it out and say at what point in the movie did this happen. It will be able to give you the details including the timeline. So that's how powerful these things are. It's just not video alone. Let's say if you have in your company you have huge documents that you need to pass through and try and understand it, you can literally do that. Pass the entire PDF. Now with the latest models and with AI Studio, what you can literally do is upload your PDF and try to create like an app out of it. Like make it as an interactive PDF. And then it will create the entire website for you or web application where you can start to interact with the PDF itself. Okay, so there's a lot of cool stuff that we can do.
If we upload one PDF document,
yeah,
2 pages,
yeah,
how many tokens will it use?
it depends on the number of text that it has. It also depends on whether you have images in the PDF document.
So per image, how
But
many tokens?
Even I'm saying you like with 1 million tokens, you can probably have more than 100 pages,
Okay.
more or even more. So it all depends on the contents of your PDF.
Is it on the prompt that I'm giving, or on the text that I'm giving, or the result that I'm
So when
getting?
you're attaching, so you see over here, you see here this plus icon, you have the option to upload files.
Okay.
So when you upload a file, depending on the size of the file,
Sure.
that will be taken into consideration as a
Token.
what do you call a token. So let's see if I have something over here.
Maybe today's events banner, you put that's only having a few text, but how much token it will take?
Just see if I can put in something. Just give me 1 second. So now it is basically uploading that file. Now, as you upload the file, okay, you'll also get to see how many tokens it is kind of consuming. You see here,
168.
1681 tokens,
So based on what?
based on the contents within this PDF.
You can ask the prompt over here how many tokens, why did you use this much token?
Yeah, you can try that. How many tokens are there and why, and are there any images in this PDF? So it's basically like an IRCTC thing, right? So you start to, it's now going through the PDF, looking at the content, and then it will start to go through it. So these things, if you start to look at it, on the right side, you have system instructions. So people will be wondering, what's the system instruction? Think about when you're building an app, you want to have the system instruction. So let's say you have a very specific tone that you want to build, right? So this application is going to be XYZ. Your job is to have as a, let's say, a designer. Depending on the image that is uploaded, make sure your job is to make sure that you redesign the image to XYZ using so and so model. So those can be the different kind of instructions that you do. Now the thing with instructions is you're kind of directing or narrowing the scope of what the model can do. Because your application use case is going to be very specific to you. You don't want, otherwise everyone can just say go to Gemini or go to ChatGPT and start building, asking it questions. But when you're building something for your use case, you want to make sure that it is very specific. I don't know how many of you remember there were cases where, especially when AI models were there in the beginning, there were sites where people could just go in and ask. It was about a car, but it gave false information and basically saying that you can buy the car for $1 or something like that, right? So there are cases where if you don't properly handle how to control your model, then it's not a good outfit for from a company perspective. So now you can see how it starts to give you the reasoning behind it. Yes, there are several images. Word token count, there are approximately 800 to 850 words in the context of large language models, where 100 words is roughly 133 tokens, and document contains approximately 1050 to 1150 tokens. And then page 1, page 2, page 3, it gives you all of the details around it. Now, on the right side, I want to kind of highlight few things. Temperature. Can someone tell me what temperature is all about?
The randomness of the response.
Randomness of the response. So think about, depending on your use case, if you're writing a story or anything creative, the higher the temperature, the model will try to be very creative. But let's say you're building something in healthcare or finance or any customer support or anything, you don't want too much randomness in that. You want to make sure that your temperature is as low as possible, so that you always expect the desired output most of the time. Okay. Then this again, you have the option, because this is a thinking model. You can decide whether the thinking model is high or low. What this basically means is, if the thinking model is high, it will take much of its time processing what are the steps that I need to do as a model. So if you remember, whatever the questions that we asked, it was trying to go through multiple steps, right? Now, in certain cases, in this case it's fine, but imagine you're writing in your business application, your customer is trying to ask you something, and if it's gonna take you 15 seconds, 20 seconds for the response to come, that's not a good user experience. So depending on the use case, you might want to have information immediately. So depending on that, you can have the thinking mode as high or low. And on the right side, bottom, you'll see, if I remove grounding with Google search, I'll give you an example of this. So I would say, let's go back here, chat with the model, and on the right side, you'll see my grounding with Google search is turned off, right? I will say, what's the weather in Doha? Now if I run this, what it's gonna do is, most probably it will check during this time of this period, what could be the type of temperatures that's there. Because now you can see that it's just trying to think about it, and it will start to come up with the output. But this output is not going to be the exact one that we have right now. Why? Because we have not connected to any external source. And this data that it's trying to generate has a knowledge cutoff of Jan 2025. So you can see it's typically saying highs and lows. So generally, see, it's even not able to understand, it's still thinking it's in May, right? So what I can then do is, I can say grounding with Google search, and I say,
what's the key sign on the left?
which key sign?
On the chat. On the chat.
API key.
Okay, so this is called the API key. So what you could do is, whenever you're using AI Studio, you have to use a API key. So think about API key is like your secret key, where depending on that key, Gemini will use your secret key to actually start generating the content. Now at a future point, if you want, let's say you decide, this is good, I want to make actual real production app, you can still use it with the free version, but the free version will have certain quota limits, right? Where let's say your app goes viral and you have so many people come in and use it, you can't just rely on the free version, because after a certain point, the API will just say that, okay, this resource is exhausted, right? So you'll have to wait for that quota limit to be refreshed. So in those cases, that's how it is. So now you see that you get to see the exact details. Now if you start to see, it's even understood at what time. So it's taken the time, the date, and then it's given the exact details, and it will give you the source from where it took that information. Now that's where all of these things on the right side would come into play. Now structured outputs would basically mean, let's say you're building a mobile app and you want to add an AI feature in your app, but you want the UI and other things. You just don't want always the text component to be as the output. In those cases, for developers, you need to have a structured JSON response, right? So you can go here, turn on structured output, create your schema, and the model will always try to make sure that that's the output that you get. So in that case, as a developer, you can use that JSON schema to kind of build out the application. URL context is where you can just give a URL of any website, and then it will start to understand the contents within that, and then it will index through that, and it will start to give you information. So pretty cool example is, if you already have an existing site, you can ask it, go to this site, identify, what are the areas of improvement, and then you can ask it to, okay, now give me a better website version.
Can I try?
Yeah, tell me. Don't tell me google.com. We can still give it a shot though, yeah.
Okay, Tasir.
Okay, you're doing this here. Yeah, tell me.
TASIR.
I'm gonna turn on URL context as well.
TASIR.
TASIR
Dot
dot
QZZ
QZZ
dot
dot
IO.
IO.
Should be an interesting website.
What's this website about?
It's my portfolio.
It's your portfolio, okay. Go through this website and analyze the contents. And build an amazing portfolio website.
Secret.
I can spell that correct, yeah. So I can also do it here, or I can also do it in the build option. I'll show you that. Let's see what happens over here. So the model has now gone into the thinking mode. So if you want to see what